New Zealand CoachApproach puts an emphasis on questioning. How does this work?
There's a growing body of research into styles of learning in a variety of fields, education, sport and business. And they all show that short-term telling often has an immediate effect, but the approach that has longer-term retention is the one that involves more questioning and gives the learner responsibility.
There are many approaches to questioning. For example, open questions, probe questions, and using comparisons or a rating scale. And the aim for effective questioning? It's about compelling attention from the athlete, enabling positive responses to ultimately help improve performance. So, let's see this in action.
So what's our objective out of today's session? Go ahead.
Defend your wicket, so you don't get out. So you can get runs.
And why do we want to get runs?
To win.
To win. The team that gets the highest score wins. So how are we going to defend our wicket? Go ahead.
Defensive stroke.
And what kind of ball would we play a defensive shot to?
Ones on wickets, accurate ones.
Yeah. So the balls on the stumps we're going to defend, we're going to keep those out. How are we going to score our runs?
Ones that are coming out. Like kind of on the leg and wide.
Yeah, exactly. So if the ball's on our stumps today, what are we going to do?
Block it.
And if it's not on our stumps, what are we going to do?
Smash it.
You think you can do that?
Yep.
Good, okay. All right, let's go. How still's our bat when we hit it, eh? Excellent, mate, well done.
I know when I started using questioning to get self-awareness, I used why quite a bit, and that created justification. You know, I'd say to a player, why'd you do that? And they'd say, oh, I did that right. No, well, I didn't really mean that. I mean, to describe back to me what you did. So I changed to what would you do if you saw this, or how would you do that, rather than why. And these guys are really skilled at that.
Yeah. How did that feel?
Yeah.
What did you notice? What did you notice?
And that feeling's really important, you know, and going with the athlete on that. I had a guy, a high profile guy actually, halfback, who wanted me to look at his passing, and I could see what the problem was. He wasn't getting low enough, but I asked him what he felt the problem was, and he said he felt stiff in the hip, and I felt like saying to him, you're not getting low enough, mate. But anyway, he felt stiff in the hip. So we just, on a scale of 1 to 10, I got him to do a series of passes and said, 1 being your hip feels really stiff, 10 being feels really loose. Let's have a look at your pass. And so he started off, and as he started getting up the scale of 6, 7, 8 of his passing, his hip felt freer, but what it did, it took his body weight down and took his body position down, and his passes started hitting the hands harder.
Right or left, which is your strength? Which is the best turning side?
The questioning technique's used hugely in coaching. The first point of it is checking. You need to get some clarity that they understand what you're asking.
Jodes, with your head, what are you sighting when you turn? Are you hearing the noise, or?
I'm looking at the wall.
You're looking at the wall?
Yeah.
Where do you think the ball's going to be?
Down the ground, or coming up.
Okay, so what's going to help you sight it quicker?
If I turn my head up early, maybe?
Yeah. I reckon from this...
The other side of it is that you're really trying to get them to start to question themselves. So out on court, they're asking those questions when they're in moments of finding solutions, that they're starting to get those questions generated in their head. So a lot of the questioning technique is both a clarity but also a challenge.
That's better. Get out of that. That's it. Go to the point and get out of it. Quick feet, quick feet, quick feet.
I know when I started trying to create awareness in the players, I'd throw in a question, I'd be itching to answer it. Sometimes you just got to let the athlete answer the question, do it in a descriptive way. So ask her, you know, what would you do? So they describe back to you, hey, if it's wrong, you can then correct or put them back in the situation and ask it again. And but as soon as you start answering for them, then it becomes instructional and probably doesn't make a lasting impression.
Well, if you don't wait for their answer, you don't know what the next question is.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of train myself. I don't know what to ask next unless I hear this answer, because that helps me question further.
And knowing the activities that they were taking part in, what was so good about a questioning is that they were actually, while they gave the opportunity for the player to have a range of responses, they did narrow the focus so it helped develop that particular component, like for instance the spatial component.
Sometimes people know they've got to ask questions, but they ask sort of quite closed questions, and also questions that are sort of yes, no, or the athlete has difficulty answering. I thought her questioning techniques were tremendous. She elicited a response, they were easy to follow, and they were sequential. So I thought her questioning techniques were tremendous. I really did.
Great tips, coaches. So the way to go for effective questioning is ask, listen, observe, follow their interest and use their words, start broad, and then drill down to increase their focus.